I wonder how you would feel if on July 4th, 2026, you lost $5,000 like that. Then 2 days later, you realized that you might also lose another $25,000 through essentially the same scam. that's, that's what happened to me. I recorded some videos, and this morning, it's 4:17 in the morning. I want to give you an overview of the whole process here, and then each video that follows this talks about my day-to-day thinking as I approach possibly losing that $25,000 after I had already lost the $5,000. And I talk about a bunch of other things related to loss in general. This is just one loss, and really it's just money. It's a lot of money, but I've lost a lot of other things in my life. I've lost family members. I've lost marriages. I've lost friendships. And loss is a really difficult thing, I think, for most of us to get through. And oftentimes for myself, I tend to laugh at myself for the silly mistakes I make and hopefully learn along the way. So let me grab my coffee here. I'm going to take a seat and explain to you real briefly the overview of my foray this summer into crypto. Let me get some coffee. So I like to add a little bit of water to my coffee. I guess it's like an Americano. This crypto deal really had to do with what's called an airdrop. And what is an airdrop? An airdrop is effectively getting free crypto tokens. And I've done this many times in the past. There's various ways you can do this. A lot of times it has to do with interacting with a particular financial protocol. Okay. For example, back in, I think it was 2021, there was this crypto exchange where you could buy crypto, you could swap crypto, and it was called 1inch. I think it's probably still around. And 1inch, I interacted with 1inch a singular time, one time. And just because my particular crypto wallet address, my public address, was associated with 1inch, for that one interaction, eventually they had an airdrop. I received that airdrop, and that airdrop was worth something over $4,000, right? So this can be very lucrative. A lot of people try to game this system in some way or another. Now, the way you get an airdrop just depends upon the particulars of that airdrop. So fast forward to July. There's a particular meme coin that I'm interested in. I don't want to give you the name. I don't want to come across like I'm shilling some meme coins. I would, in fact, never tell my friends to buy meme coins. They're probably the riskiest part of crypto, and it's not really the fundamental piece of crypto, but it's fun, and it has to do with social contagion and trying to figure out where the mind share is going. Anyway, this particular meme coin is associated with another financial protocol, a trading platform, kind of similar to an exchange. This trading platform, what you had to do is you had to connect your wallet to the trading platform, effectively have in that wallet this particular meme coin. Then you also needed to connect your social media to this, like my X handle, my Twitter or X handle. The idea at the time was go and post on X about this meme coin, try to generate interest. And as you do that, you will get rewarded with an airdrop. That's the basics behind this. Now, when I connected my wallet to the user interface of this, there's my cat Jax. He's crying in this morning. So he's a loud boy. He's a Siamese. He's a loud boy. You might hear him. So when I connected my wallet to this trading platform, there was a bit of a problem with the user interface where it was not showing that I was holding the token in my wallet where in fact I was. And I noticed there was a lot of other people online talking about this very same issue. Effectively, then I came across some script, some computer code that I thought was going to fix this issue of the user interface. I had run this computer script in my Mac OS terminal Little did I know that this script was, in fact, a Trojan horse, if you will, to access my computer. And that's exactly what had happened. It accessed my computer when I was using my this particular crypto wallet, a MetaMask hot wallet, just a wallet that I don't keep a lot of tokens in. I kind of trade a little more regularly with it, although I'm not someone that normally day trades. The shortest intervals for me are typically on the order of weeks. That's still pretty short. Usually I like to hold on for years. So I had downloaded, I was running this script on terminal, and little did I know that I was basically giving away my seed phrase for this particular hot wallet. So, this was early one morning on July 4th. I had left, I came back later and found that that wallet was completely empty of everything. Okay, my heart drops, it was something like $5,100 or something worth of tokens. That stings. Then it wasn't but a couple days later I realized that this particular wallet, the private key that was associated with this wallet, also was connected to some tokens that were held in a staking contract. Now, what I mean by a staking contract is I had some other crypto tokens that were on a different platform, and the only way I could access them was through this particular wallet that had already been hacked. I had these other tokens on this platform because I was earning interest on these tokens. And it's passive income effectively. So I was earning interest on this. And this particular protocol or platform, if you want to remove those tokens from the platform, you have to initiate what's called an unbonding transaction. Now, this platform, when you initiated this unbonding, it takes 28 days for them to actually release your tokens. Now, there's reasons behind that. I don't want to go into that right now, but effectively, I realized at that point, some 2 days later, that my tokens were about to be released 28 days after the unbonding because the hacker knew this. They saw my wallet and saw that they could get these additional tokens, which was worth more, some $25,000, plus whatever interest I had accrued, which I didn't really know at the moment. I hadn't paid attention. So they initiated that unbonding. So at that point, I knew that there was a race. That when this unbonding occurred, which happened to be August 1st, there was a chance that I could actually get these tokens back. So the tokens were going to be released, and they either would go to the hacker or possibly I could get them back if I use some tricks of the blockchain and some external help to get those tokens. So I decided to go ahead and record videos every day, every few days, thinking about this process of losing these tokens and also going through a lot of other issues bubbling around in my mind this summer. So that is a background to the videos that are unfolding.
Welcome back to the struggle sessions, or should I say the crypto countdown sessions. Here we are, 21 days, 13 hours, 12 minutes, and some odd seconds until we find out my fate and whether I will lose $25,000. It's been an exhausting day, you guys. I've been real busy just trying to get things done, and I'll say that that's a great way to get my mind off of crypto. I think this is what we men do all the time is when we have difficulties, we just do a lot of stuff. And some people say it's a distraction, and there may be some truth to that. I think if you have any kind of difficulties in your life, you want to face them. You definitely want to face them, but men usually don't really get very far through a lot of chatting. Maybe a little bit of that, but often requires some activity, work out the stress that's buried in the body, I suppose. So I've had a lot of projects. I've been changing some outlets and light switches in my house from an old, ugly, worn out beige to a nice new sleek white with the screwless face plates. Looks quite nice, but it's a lot of work, and especially outlets. Boy, those copper wires, They're thick gauge copper, and you're trying to twist them into this little hook called the J bend. And oh, you guys, I hate the J bend. I have a conspiracy theory about J bends and outlets. I think electricians, they were up to something back in the day. They knew it was going to be real hard for the average Joe to do that. So, and you're not really, you're not really supposed to just stab it in the back. There are some options. I know you can do that, but anyway, I'm pretty exhausted, and I was thinking about these crypto tokens and thinking about friends that I've told about crypto in the past, years ago. I don't anymore. I don't tell them anything. If people ask, I will, but nowadays I don't. There's a really great saying that I've learned over the years, I think encapsulates my thinking about this now. And the idea is something like you can borrow someone's investment, like their investment idea, but you can't borrow their conviction. And that's what it comes down to. Let's say you have something you want to invest in and you are really excited about it. You've done all sorts of research. You're convinced it's going to the moon. Come on, everybody. Let's all get rich together, you guys. Come with me. Let's go to Valhalla together. Well, I thought that once too. And years ago, I was preaching to everybody who would listen, laying out the thesis. Can't you see? Can't you see? But the thing is, I put in the research and, people are busy. They're just hearing this for the first time, taking 10 minutes to think about it. And I'd say back when I was really telling friends, I might have told about, I don't know, in total 20 friends, and some of them did act upon it. They did, and how many? I would say maybe 5 of 20. Not too many, but a few did. And what was really surprising were the people I thought would at least look into this, right? And this comes back to keeping your investments to yourself. The people that I thought would really be interested in this, like the engineers, the very technically oriented, paid no mind. They had no interest to even spend some time on their own looking into this. I wasn't saying necessarily do something, but at least go check it out, you guys. Check this thing out and see if you don't see a glimmer of what I see. And then some people who had no technical background at all were like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get in on this at least a little bit." And it's that conviction piece. That's an internal piece, especially when it comes to money. And I was very careful with. I've never done anything like that in my life, to be honest, you guys. I've never in my life have I talked about investment or anything. It really just wasn't on my mind. My life is mostly about I'm interested in understanding things. So I love talking about ideas to people and understanding how things work. But about money and investing, never a thing. Never a thing. The dot-com era, the dot-com bubble, nope, didn't talk about any of that. Nothing. Stocks. But then I saw something that was really unique in crypto that I thought I should mention this to some people. I was thinking in my mind, if they watch me, if they watch me go to the moon and I left them behind, they might not be too happy with me. Like, why couldn't you just tell me? But I've realized it doesn't matter if you tell them. It just doesn't matter, you guys. They might listen, they might not. And, you just got to get on with it. And some people, in fact, will even resent you for it, which is even odder. That's an odd one. Yeah, they see you found something, they didn't really listen, they didn't get on it, and then you might do well and they don't, and they're not happy about it. So keep your investments to yourself, I think is the best approach here. And your friends, they can get investment advice from, the news or something. Not like they're going to tell you anything that you should need to know. But it really hasn't helped at all. I think, another thing that people say is if you do well for yourself at some point, there's a couple things that may happen. You might find that you are ostracized by some of your friends, or you might just naturally find yourself moving towards different people in your life. That's a weird thing. I'm not really sure still what to make of that. It's sort of like maybe crabs in a bucket. You know, the old idea of crabs in the bucket, that one crab is trying to escape and working his way up the wall of the bucket, and the other crab is pulling back down. You know, people don't like to see other people succeed. You think your friends might want you to succeed, but some do, some don't. And they would probably never admit that. Um, because I think it's then you act as a mirror for them. And if you're getting ahead, why are they not? They may feel lesser in such a case. You know, there's a lot of egos. We all have egos, and how that operates within us. It just depends who we are and where we are in our lives and who we surround ourselves with. So, you know, I like to surround myself with positive people, people that are looking towards the future with optimism. And that's why I like to hang around younger people. You know, a lot of adults are jaded. They kind of had their chance maybe and we are stuck in a grind and they feel their story is over. I always, you know, being the optimist, of course, I always think, well, you can always change your story. You can move on. But investing, telling your friends about your investment, another thing too, about being very careful about that. We all work so hard for our money. You guys, I come from not much. In the formative years of my life, I was myself and my two sisters were raised by my mother alone. She did remarry, but those early years, there was a struggle. I remember there's a memory burned in my mind of my mother at the kitchen sink. You know, little kitchen, looking out the window into the forest at night. It's dark outside, just a little light over the kitchen sink, and there she is doing dishes, and I see her crying. I don't think she knew I was behind her, just see her crying. You know, I imagined in my mind she was crying because of the struggle of just all the difficulties of trying to raise three kids and pay bills and keep us positive through all of it. Whew, that's a heavy load. Your friends are probably carrying heavy loads of their own, and you know, I know you probably want to help them out. I like helping people, but sometimes keeping your mouth shut is just the way to go about it. You know, and again, if they ask about it, yeah, I would definitely say tell them, you know? You could tell them you're interested in something. There's a new stock, you know, maybe they know you're into stocks and they want to hear about what you're thinking. Sure, go for it, you know? Let them dip their toes in. The other thing with markets are markets go up, markets go down. There's a seasonality, a cyclical pace, and you have the bull market where prices go up, and the bear market prices go down. They hang steady, and you know if you have conviction, like in crypto right now, we're like in a 5-year bear market. If you ignore Bitcoin again, you know, um, I don't think a lot of people have that kind of conviction. So my advice for you today is when you find that golden cow, and you're gonna throw all your money in there, I'd be a little cautious with telling your friends, you know? And as I think about this, I'm thinking back of the timer here. The golden cow for my hacker is my crypto tokens, a little golden cow for that guy, waiting to waiting to snag those tokens whenever that Ethereum block is produced. I think I'm gonna be fine through the next, 2 weeks, not thinking about it. But as we get down to the wire, it's gonna come back into my mind for sure. I'll be thinking about it. And more news about that Clarity Act. I see that all over my X feed, and looks like when Congress comes back from their recess, or their, I guess, their vacation or recess, supposedly they're going to be talking about it, and maybe more Democrats are on board. So that Clarity Act, I'm not pushing investments on you guys, but That's maybe a green light for capital to flow into the space where, I don't know. I don't even know how many tokens there are these days, tens of thousands. So, you know, most of them are useless. A lot of them are memes. Memes, they're just art. Memes are just like art as far as I'm concerned. You like some art, it's kind of a social piece. And that reminds me of a topic I think we need to bring up about value. What gives something value? That's a great topic, maybe for tomorrow. I hope you hang out with me through this countdown, you guys. And reminder, this has already happened. It's July 10 here, but you won't be seeing this until August because if that hacker finds out that I know what he's up to, he might change tactics. So I'm gonna hang tight and just make these videos private until after August 1st. We'll see what happens, and I'll see you next time on the Struggle Sessions.